Please like and subscribe for more information. Life and career. Early life and the Jackson 5, 1958 to 1975. Michael Joseph Jackson was born in Gary, Indiana, near Chicago, on August 29, 1958. He was the eighth of 10 children in the Jackson family, a working-class African-American family living in a two-bedroom house on Jackson Street. His mother, Catherine Esther Jackson, née Screws, played clarinet and piano, had aspired to be a country and western performer, and worked part-time at Sears. She was a Jehovah's Witness. His father, Joseph Walter, Joe Jackson, a former boxer, was a crane operator at U.S. Steel and played guitar with a local rhythm and blues band, the Falcons, to supplement the family's income. Joe's great-grandfather, Jack Gale, was a U.S. Army Scout. Family law held that he was also a Native American medicine man. Michael grew up with 3 sisters, Rebbe, Latoya, and Janet, and 5 brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy. A 6th brother, Marlon's twin Brandon, died shortly after birth. In 1964, Michael and Marlon joined the Jackson Brothers, a band formed by their father which included Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine, as backup musicians playing congas and tambourine. Michael said his father told him he had a fat nose and physically and emotionally abused him during rehearsals. He recalled that Joe often sat in a chair with a belt in his hand as he and his siblings rehearsed, ready to punish any mistakes. Joe acknowledged that he regularly whipped Michael. Catherine said that although whipping came to be considered abuse, it was a common way to discipline children when Michael was growing up. Jackie, Tito, Jermaine and Marlon denied that their father was abusive and said that the whippings, which were harder on Michael because he was younger, kept them disciplined and out of trouble. Jackson said his youth was lonely and isolated. Later in 1964, Michael began sharing lead vocals with Jermaine, and the group's name was changed to the Jackson 5. In 1965, the group won a talent show. Michael performed the dance to Robert Parker's 1965 song, Barefootin', and sang The Temptations' My Girl. From 1966 to 1968, the Jacksons 5 toured the Midwest. They frequently played at a string of black clubs known as the Chitlin Circuit as the opening act for artists such as Sam and Dave, the O'Jays, Gladys Knight, and Etta James. The Jackson 5 also performed at clubs and cocktail lounges, where striptease shows were featured, and at local auditoriums and high school dances. In August 1967, while touring the East Coast, they won a weekly amateur night concert at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Please like and subscribe. The Jackson 5 recorded several songs for a Gary record label, Steeltown Records. Their first single, Big Boy, was released in 1968. Bobby Taylor of Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers brought the Jackson 5 to Motown after they opened for Taylor at Chicago's Regal Theater in 1968. Taylor produced some of their early Motown recordings, including a version of Who's Lovin' You. After signing with Motown, the Jackson family relocated to Los Angeles. In 1969, Motown executives decided Diana Ross should introduce the Jackson 5 to the public, partly to bolster her career in television, sending off what was considered Motown's last product of its production line. The Jackson 5 made their first television appearance in 1969 in the Miss Black America pageant. Performing a cover of It's Your Thing, Rolling Stone later described the young Michael as a prodigy, with overwhelming musical gifts, who quickly emerged as the main draw and lead singer. In January 1970, I Want You Back became the first Jackson 5 song to reach number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. It stayed there for 4 weeks. 3 more singles with Motown topped the chart. ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There. In May 1971, the Jackson family moved into a large house on a 2-acre estate in Encino, California. During this period, Michael developed from a child performer into a teen idol. Between 1972 and 1975, he released 4 solo studio albums with Motown: Got to Be There, 1972, Ben, 1972, Music and Me, 1973, and Forever. Michael, 1975, Got to Be There, and Ben, the title tracks from his first 2 solo albums, sold well as singles, as did a cover of Bobby Day's Rockin' Robin. Michael maintained ties to the Jackson 5. The Jackson 5 were later described as a cutting-edge example of black crossover artists. They were frustrated by Motown's refusal to allow them creative input. Jackson's performance of their top 5 single, Dancing Machine, on Soul Train popularized the robot dance.